Hey guys, my name's Mannequin, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different. So someone suggested that I do a remix from scratch, which I think is a really good idea because it kind of really shows you everything you need to do from start to finish. No cutting, no nothing, no skipping out on anything. How to get the tracks that I get. And, it could be good for you guys if you like my style. Otherwise, it might be a little different. I might do multiple styles for this remix contest, but I'm actually going to be doing a remix of a track that is, the stems are uploaded for remix contest, so I'm not doing a bootleg or an edit or a bootleg. You don't necessarily have to have the stems. You just kind of get the original track, chop it up, and add stuff and remove stuff, and just kind of, work how you want to work with it. But I'm on a remix comps here, and that's where I go to, see remix competitions and stuff like that. And on the front page, there's one called Time by Destiny. And I actually listened to it, and I really liked the vocals right off the bat. So, and that's the way I work with remixes. So I went, clicked here, go to her SoundCloud. And you got the vocal stems. These are the background vocals, and these are the main vocals. So I already downloaded those, so I have those here. And let me just drop them in. Do I have the folder open? Oops. Yes, I do. Okay. So if I go to just drag these in, it'll say, do I want to create new tracks, use existing tracks, replace all files in one track? I want to create a new track for each one. And give it a second here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to have to do is very vital to this project, and that is we need to figure out the BPM and key of the original song. Now, because this is for a remix competition, they don't want to make it hard on you. You don't really have to try usually, and if you ask, they could tell it to you. Except for the key. The key is not as intuitive, and some people might not give it at all for the remix contest because they don't know. So if you go here, it says the tempo is 124 BPM, so we'll just throw that in really quick here. 124 BPM, and everything should line up theoretically. It's a little bit hard to see just because these waveforms aren't perfectly, they're not like as like a kick drum where you can just line it up perfectly right off the bat, but it's looking like most of this stuff is lining up here. I might need to shift it. I don't know. When I throw the kick drum in, I'll really see. Yeah, it looks like it's lined up because that's on the offbeat there. So I think this is good. And some of the vocals, what you have to do is you'll have to trim it, and you'll have to slide it over because it doesn't line up perfectly for reasons unknown to mankind. But it looks like we're fine right now. We'll see when I throw the kick drum in. So the next thing I want to do is I want to check if I could figure out the key that it's in. It's typically up here somewhere, but actually it wasn't. So I had to look down at the comments. Does anybody know the key of the vocals? And she replied A minor. So we know the key is in A minor now, so we can actually draw that in. I typically don't bother drawing it in because I just kind of work off of my ear, and I kind of get used to the key. But I'll just draw it in this time for you guys so that it makes more sense to you. So we have, let's start with C3 A minor. So this is A, and then A minor is, if I have my little, there we go, whole, half, whole, whole. So it's whole. No, that's not a whole. That's a whole. Half, whole, whole, and then half, whole, whole. So, and then yeah, we're back at 8 there. So that's our note options, and we'll be able to look at that and kind of see how things work. So first of all, I'm just gonna mute this because I'm just gonna keep this as my reference. And typically, the first thing I do is create a bass line or a kick drum. So this time, since I don't know what really I want the vibe of this, I don't remember what the vocals sound like because I just listened to them a minute ago. It's the first time I listened to them, and I decided I'd start this. So anyway, let's see here. Let me pull up a kick drum after I listen to the vocals one more time really quick. So this is kind of what they sound like.
Just static electricity. Your touch moving to the sound. Your lips are all I need.
So that's pretty cool there. The vocals are very, very clean, and I like that. In the sense, not this clean in the sense that there's no effect, clean in the sense that they sound very smooth. Sometimes there's distortion and all that on vocals, and oh my goodness, that just bugs me so much. So let's see if I could go to my home folder, music, remix, stems, samples. Here we go. And I'm just gonna cycle through some kick drums here and see if I can grab one that I like. So
static electricity.
So what kind of sound do I want here? I kind of like the way that this kick drum, it kind of makes like this it sounds like a sort of sound that it does at the beginning. So it doesn't sound like it's like all pop. it kind of's got like this solid sort of white noise body to it. So I'll keep that in mind. Number 7. Actually, no, I'm gonna use this one right here, the G sharp one, because that one's gonna fit really good with. I already got an idea for something off of it. So I'm gonna throw this in here. I'm gonna cycle it a couple times, and then I'm gonna do something that I do for pretty much all my tracks. It's one of the first things I try to do. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I so it doesn't happen as often. But what I do is I get this and I drop down the gain to -16. So it's so that this is really quiet in terms of things, and you'll see why in a second here. So if you listen, it's pretty quiet. And actually, then what I want to do is I want to do the same thing to the vocals. So get these and pull down the gain on these, so it's like at -10. These are already quiet though; they're not like peaking or anything, so I don't need to pull it down as much. And then what I'm going to do, this is the important part. This is the reason I do this. I add a gain and bump it up by 12 dB. And the reason I do this is because I tend to let my tracks clip. And if I pull this up, then basically what I'm doing is I'm running everything at a really low level. And then I pull this up. So it's loud enough for me to hear, and I don't have to worry about when it's clipping. I just have to turn off the gain in the end when I'm mastering it, and it's not clipping in the end. So whereas opposed to if you're just running it normally and it's clipping, sure, you could turn down the volume, but there's a chance that some of your tracks are clipping anyway because they're coming out so hot, and they're at the volume levels high enough to the point where it's actually clipping. So listening to this, it actually is a case where we are going to need to offset the vocals. If you listen, the kick drum does not sound like it's on time with the vocals. So I think what it's supposed to be is sound there is supposed to sound I think is supposed to be on beat. So what we need to do is figure out where sound is, just look at it. So I think it's, did I move that? I wasn't trying to move that. So I think that means that what we need to do is get the beginning here, trim off the beginning, and then figure out how we can line this up to where we want it. So we are looking at this one. Let's try to line it up like that, see what happens. Actually, I think might supposed to be like that. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So the thing here is, you notice that it was a little bit off. So I had to line it up to where it was, and notice I had both of these selecting, so I was doing the same thing to it. So the background vocals are also lined up now. So. So that kind of makes sense. Sorry about that. And now here. So that kind of makes sense now when on this beat it goes. So things are landing more on the vocals. It kind of takes a little bit to get used to shifting this stuff, and later on I might actually retime the vocals so they're actually right on beat. But right now this is solid. Put that gain back on. I think I accidentally pulled it off. Okay. Don't want this to drown out my voice here. So now off the top of my head, what I'm actually thinking about right now is not what I'm going to do next. It's what kind of vibe do I want to get from this song. That's really what you want to think about. If we listen to the original song here, so it's kind of like this vibe that's you know, it's kind of a slow vibe. So it's got like the progressive house feel, but it's a slow vibe. So I kind of want to make this like start out as, oh, you know, it'd be really cool is if we made this like a chill out track, and just kind of made it so it's deep at first, and then it gets into like this big epic sort of, you know, distant flowing pulsating sound. That would be cool. So let's try that. Off the top of my head, the note pattern that would go well, it would be if I start duh duh, so it's gonna go duh 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 duh. So let's actually cycle this here. So I kind of oh, let's do that. And then we'll just kind of cycle that for now. We won't worry about other notes. We're just on A because it's in A minor, so we kind of start on A. So that's kind of what I talked about in my music theory video. So now what do? Let's drop in a ES2. I'm not sure if I'm going to use SynthMaster. I really want to use SynthMaster because I love using SynthMaster. But I kind of want to stick in this for now. So let me just drop in a bass and just kind of cycle through some of these presets to see what we have by way of options here. This is exactly what I was actually looking for. So now the problem is this kind of sounds a little high for what I was thinking about. So let's see if... So I'm going to add some side chaining now. So so what I have is I have my basic bass line here. That's really simple. And then I'm going to take this, send it to bus 20. Like I talked to you, I always do side chaining on bus 20. I'm going to remove the stereo output so it doesn't double the sound level, because right now the kick drum will just do this. Now it's doubling it, and if you look, it's clipping. But if I go onto this one and turn off the stereo out, it's the original volume of the kick drum, because this doesn't add to it. So I could just use this for side chaining without it worrying about affecting the actual volume. So now I just go to here, side chain, and then I'm just going to pull some things around here. That looks actually about right. Sweet. So, for the sake of keeping this... So that's kind of, I don't want to go too long with this video. So I'm gonna cut it here, and so the next video, I don't know what I'll cover exactly, because, you know, it's a creative process. I can't predict everything that I do in the track. But for now, I'm just going to leave this here, and basically just setting up the project and getting started. So I started with a kick drum, then I'm adding a bass line. That's really the way it goes for me, unless I have an idea for a drop or a melody off the top of my head. When it comes to just, like, you know, working with what you have, that's the way I do it. I start with the kick drum, throw in a bass line, and then go from there. So, if you like this video, then give it a like. If you don't like it, comment below and tell me why. And hopefully this series is good for you guys. And I'm gonna try not to focus too much on Electro House and try to do a variety of things in here, so that we get a very unique sounding track that actually does sound like this sounds mainstream in the sense that it's fleshed out and well done, but it doesn't sound mainstream in the sense that it's what everybody else would be doing. So that's what I'm gonna do for the following videos here. But for now, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.